Hey guys, welcome back to the Lit Mag Lab podcast. I'm Jazz Marie, aka Vevna Forrow. On the last podcast episode, or past one, I should say, I was giving you guys a quick tour around Exact Editions, and just a reminder, what Exact Editions does is provide digital magazine subscription solutions, right, or a solution, I should say, on their platform. It is, I think, so important for others to be able to easily read issues, right? And have some sort of like digital archive created over time. So I really love digital subscription options, and I ended up covering exact editions again. Just a reminder, because in episode 20, I forgot to mention them, right? And I was talking about in that episode of 20, right? Print and digital magazine subscription options and platforms, right, that can be leveraged. But Exact Editions, just want to do an episode on them separately. They've been around quite some time, and I forgot to mention them. So you can listen back to the episode, watch the video if you like, out on YouTube and Spotify. Sometimes just a reminder, on Spotify, you have to drag the slider out, and then it clears up the video a little bit. I don't know if it'll ever be corrected, but any case, you can still watch the video. Just sometimes that happens. You may see today we are on Asterism Books. Yeah, you may recall, if you've been following this podcast closely and listening to my PS notes all the way at the end of episodes, right? Even the last episode, right? I did a PS note sharing some additional services I've experienced with. But Asterism, I had mentioned it in 54, right? The Oli Ada episode. Reason being, Joshua Rothes, I apologize, I'm mispronouncing his name, is the developer of Oli Ada, which is a submission management system, and also he founded Asterism Books. And again, I'm just gonna say, Dippity Press, and I run Dippity Lit Mag and Dippity Press. We weren't accepted into Asterism Books, however. That doesn't mean, again, that I can't share it with you guys. It may help someone this episode. It may be, just cool to check out and be aware of, for in the future, if you ever are looking into, distribution services, or yeah. So what is asterism? Okay, so let's just dig in here. I'm going to go, as I usually do, to the about section for guys, just quote it off for you, yeah? So, Asterism Books is an online bookstore and trade distributor for books by independent presses. It says here they aim to work with both booksellers and publishers to forge a more sustainable path for small press publishing, emphasizing transparency, communication, and collaboration. Again, Asterism was founded in 2021 by Joshua Rothes of Sublinary Editions as a small cooperative of presses offering direct to trade distribution for member presses. Outgrowing their initial model and seeing a hunger for a new way of doing business in the independent publishing community, Asterism Books relaunched in February of 2023 as a partnership between Joshua Rothes and Phil Bevis, co-publisher of Chatwin Books and the proprietor of Arundel Books, with the warehouse fulfillment center and headquarters in the Pioneer Square neighborhood of Seattle. It says here they've worked hard to build a state-of-the-art software for publishers, as well as for their operations, including inventory management, shipping, and reporting dashboards. Yeah, so that's really cool. Asterism is an online bookstore and trade distributor for books, by independent presses. It's really neat. If you're not a publisher or founding editor listening to this podcast episode, I would say you can still, dig into the online bookstore, come across some really great titles and, authors and finds even through there, even presses, right, and publishers, more places maybe to even check out and potentially submit to again, right? Or just grab some books to read, right? It's pretty cool. So, and it says here just a little bit further down, in addition, I'm quoting this, in addition to being founded by and run by small presses, Asterism started by rethinking as many of the assumptions behind how small presses do distribution as possible. And it says they do not offer returns on wholesale orders, with exceptions for event orders and damaged copies. In exchange for booksellers, they promise never to sell into online discounters that can undercut them on price. It says here their bread and butter is selling books to readers, booksellers, and librarians rather than adding additional middlemen to the process. And it says here they offer near immediate payouts to their publishers and never charge exploitative fees. So yeah, that's really great. It seems like they've really streamlined things, right? No middleman. I like that. So yeah, you can see here. I'll do just a quick tour around asterism too. But just a recap again. This is Josh, and yeah, so he's done a lot of really stellar work, I must say. Ulieta is how I first came to contact with Josh, and we're not no longer on Ulieta again, but you can still check out that episode if you're curious what I'm talking about. Number 54, and we ended up switching to again submittable with the CLMP membership. But then we left again just this summer, submittable for Subfolio again. And I have episodes covering those, so you can listen back to all of that again. But yeah, really cool. He has a lot of experience, with development and code, right? So I think that's really awesome. This site design, Asterism Books is really cool. I think I saw again. I mentioned towards the very end of 54 that somewhere on social media they said they were going to possibly integrate Oleada, right, the submission management system Josh developed, somehow into Asterism or something. I'm not sure if that's still a plan or anything like that. In either case, that's cool that it was a possibility maybe in the future. So yeah, so this is Astron's homepage. You can see here, and it says here they have a blog, right? A month of poetry, the Sealy Challenge 2025. I don't know how many guys are doing the Sealy Challenge. I, of course, didn't do it this time, but I have some friends in the community, even on my team, doing the Sealy Challenge. Not this particular set of recommendations from Asterism Books, but nevertheless, yeah, it's pretty cool that they have this. Yeah, and yeah, the Vegas layer, and yeah, so I'll have to check out these nevertheless. Even if you don't partake in the Sealy Challenge, I like checking out new releases and things like that. So that's cool. 31 titles for 31 days. Maybe next time, guys, I'll do a Sealy Challenge, or do it. I've been doing these episodes and other things with Dippity, right? So just trying to get things done before the end of the summer here, and some other releases I'm working on too myself. Yeah, so let's go back to the homepage here, right? You can see here they have 50% off Bruised Books, right? Let's check that out. So that's really cool that they do that. So it says here, perfectly imperfect books with light scratching, scuffing, scrunching, or smudging. So those are bruised. So the price isn't you know, it's 50% off. That's nice. Limited supply with new stock each week. So yeah, you can check out and browse the online bookstore. I'm not signed in or anything. This is all public, right? Their online bookstore and the bruised book section too. So a lot of really cool titles though. I love the, seeing cover art of titles and stuff. It always is really interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna browse around a little bit more. I have in the past, but not as much as I am doing today. So some of these pages are new to me too. So you can see here they have info right on the left hand side for prospective publishers, for booksellers, for librarians. Let's go into for prospective publishers, right? So again, you can submit an application for a publisher account. However, they don't take everyone. Just a reminder, they have to vet your publication. They have to really take consideration what they're looking for, right? And I can't recall exactly why we had a decline letter. And just a reminder, right? We as editors, founding editors of lit magazine journals, we get rejection decline letters too from platforms and services maybe you want to partake in or work with, right? They have to vet our publication. We don't get a yes on everything ourselves, so just keep that in mind. There was someone in the community who mentioned they had applied to Asterism, and I think they had two series, right? And they had between those two 10 to 15, so maybe somewhere around almost close to 20 something publications, but they still were not accepted into Asterism. I think that's what I recall. I could be off on the numbers, but any case, again, they don't accept everyone. So it says here, for prospective publishers, I'll just cover this real quick. It says they're looking for publishers who publish multiple authors besides the publisher themselves, have a track record of published materials, have a clear vision and timeline for future projects, are actively engaged in marketing their books, are able to send the materials in a timely fashion. And yeah, so if you are a new press, you have to be prepared to share plans for publications, marketing, and printing. It says they are not looking for publishers who publish books from paying clients, publish, primarily the work of one author, do not do in-house marketing for their titles, and they're not looking for those who focus on genres that fall outside the general scope of literary, though this it says here they embrace the broadness of that. And they have nothing against genre fiction, but they want to ensure their marketing and sales team can focus on selling what they're good at. Yeah, it's cool, so they have an FAQ section here you can read. I won't read all of it, right? But it says they now represent more than 200 independent publishers from around the world. So yeah, they've grown a lot. That's pretty awesome. It's hard to do that for sure. What else? It says here, yeah, we talk about their traffic and payouts here and shipping. So they handle all fulfillment, I'm quoting this, out of their Seattle warehouse full of book nerds who love, and says we mean love packing books. And yeah, it costs nothing to get set up with Asterism again. They have no recurring fees. Asterism takes 24% of the final sale price of the book. That's it. So yeah. And then they send stock requests for new titles and reorders of existing titles. So, for publishers, right, they get an email essentially, right? And then, they get to see stock levels, right? So, yeah, I think it's nice, you want to, again, as a publisher, right, get your titles and the author titles you've published into as many, places as possible, right? And distribution is, I would say, really, it can be really complicated and frustrating solo by yourself trying to, maneuver all of that. So I think what Asterism has here is a really great solution, for doing the heavy lifting, all of that, right? The warehouse they have, the distribution, and I've seen on social media, even on their channels, it's really cool to see the titles in the physical locations, the bookshops and stuff. I think that's what I saw. So yeah. What else do we have here? So again, they have, for booksellers here, and they have information for booksellers, and it says publishers set their own discounts, but they encourage pressures to offer, it's typical, right, in most places, 40% on trade titles. And yeah, so they have, again, I'm gonna click back onto the page for you guys. It says there are exceptions on the return policy for booksellers. So it says they have a replace offer credit for damaged books. It says here they also allow returns on orders for events within 30 days of the event, and they offer 90 days returns on books ordered by college bookstores, of course, materials for course materials. Sorry. So yeah, that is really cool, and then for librarians they have information, right? So they offer at this time, as of August 2025, a 20% discount on all orders to their library partners. So yeah, they do a lot. That's really cool. So they have contact information here. You can see, right, the forms for applying are always on the right hand side, or the UI could change years down the road, but for right now that's what it looks like. Again, I'm signed out. I'm not signed into anything, but you can see they have a weekly bestsellers section here. Pretty cool. And I really like the layout of this site. It's very, very clean design and very organized for sure. You can look at new releases, right? They have paperback, chapbooks, hardcover, ebook, and yeah, they even have ebook formats. That's really nice. Magazine, notebook, anthology, artists, all the categories you can think of, right? Poetry, right? Queer studies, queer lit, love and sex, humor, and all kinds, environment and ecology, and crime, cookbooks, even. Yeah, it's a really a very extensive catalog here that they have in their online bookstore. So that's cool. Let's take a look at chapbook. I'm just seeing the filtering for you guys. And yeah, so I think maybe because I don't have anything selected here. Oh, paperback. That's why I didn't have anything else. So yeah, so you can see paperback, a chapbook, and then I don't know what shows up. Let's see what shows up under ebook. I'm just curious. I just want to see what it looks like. So yeah, titles that are in multi-format, I think. So I'm just going to click on these and see. So yeah, you can see here ebook, PDF, and that's cool, So they have it looks like a mix of ebooks and also paperback and other formats here. Yeah, and I don't know if this. So you can type a publisher name here, and I'm just typing a letter in the corner, and you can see what's. I wonder if they have. So yeah, they have some presses and magazines in here that I'm familiar with, right? And you can see here, yeah, there's quite a lot for sure. Blue Books, Boiler House Press, and yeah. So yeah, let's check out some other portions of the site. I'm not going to go through all of the titles out, of course, in the online bookstore, but you can see they have filters, page count. You can really narrow down your search results, it looks like. And yeah, you totally can look at it more. And what's this? Let's check that out. Oh, that it shows that it's on sale. That little icon there on the book almost looks like a conversational bubble. But yeah, by the bookmark icon. So yeah, that they have sales noted and indicated there. And yeah, you can again filter by publishers, and it's pretty cool. There's presses. You can see another great way to come across some great and amazing presses and magazines and authors, even, right? I think that's really cool. So what else? Upcoming titles. I showed you Bruised Books, and yeah, they even keep track of upcoming releases, and they have a again ebook section here, so that's really nice. So yeah, and on sale now. Let's take a look. Yeah, so you can see they have sales, and then they have even reviews there. Look at that. So that's nice. Oh yeah, so like the on sale, and then there's like a that same icon, like a almost like a conversational bubble there for reviews, right? The outline of it, right? So that's nice. You can see reviews on, it looks like titles, some of them. And what else do we have here? On sale, our publishers. So let's take a look at that. So yeah, this is their list, right? So it says they represent 202 of the best independent publishers from around the world. That is a really extensive list. Yeah, so you can check out if you're someone again who likes lists, right? Don't forget, I have some list episodes on this podcast that I've covered, and this is another list, right? Asterism Books has a list of publishers, right, that are part of, their catalog, their online bookstore, their distribution services, right? And yeah, so a lot of really cool ones. Prototype, I'm familiar with. Yeah, and some of these names I have seen before for sure. So I'm sure you guys have too. You can dig more around on their Asters and Books site and check out their our publishers list. Pretty cool, for sure. So I'll just click into maybe some of these so you can see. I'm on Blush right now. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, so cool. Again, you can see some comments about the book. This looks cool. Phantom Jams, or some of these titles, they just stand out, right? I love seeing the cover art of books, titles, and publications and magazines. It's just really cool, usually, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, tons in here for sure. Yeah. So I'm not gonna go through all of them, of course, but you can scroll down even here and see them, right? And see more. As you can see, right, they have their logo about the press or publisher, right, and the yeah, where they're based, their location. Some of them have that indicated, right. Yeah, I see one Birds, DC, Minneapolis, at New York City, and Raleigh, and yeah, so many here, right. Very cool. So yeah, I'm gonna have to circle back and check out some of these, and for sure, I haven't heard of a lot of these myself, but really really awesome. And of course, they have some from Seattle, right? Because their warehouse is there, and yeah, So def check out more of Asterism Books. I just wanted to give you a quick tour around it, right? And yeah, so they have a lot of really stellar publications that you can browse in here, right? And yeah, again, if you are, a prospective publisher, a bookseller, librarian, or even if you just love coming across new titles and learning about, presses out there, and you could stop by Asters and Books. It's pretty neat. Again, we're not Dippity Lit Mag Dippity Press. We're not with Astros and Books at this time, but who knows? We're doing a relaunch. We are trying to slowly grow our series, and we'll see what happens. I'm someone who keeps trying, and and yeah. So there are, some other sort of places out there that help with distribution. Asterism is fairly well known and in the community, and it has really substantially grown. Another one I've mentioned on this podcast that sort of helps with like drop shipping and printing and other things, though, more so would be Bookmobile, based out of my home state, Minnesota. So yeah, I have to circle back to them. I had got a quote from them on, they Bookmobile. They do more so, printing and distribution, drop shipping. They have additional services, right? So I'm talking about. They do drop ship and distribution too. You can see earlier there was a, sorry, I went a little bit too fast there, a quote, right? Generation. And, they help with drop ship and distribution. So essentially, right, they can, help with printing and drop shipping and distribution. Same, right? They have, like, Bookmobile has, I believe, a warehouse too, where they help with facilitating, right, the delivery, right? Sorry, the shipping of it, right? And then it gets delivered out, right, to, whoever ordered it. So they have like a bookshop as well, right? Yeah, itascabooks.com. They also help with listing in, Amazon, and yeah, and you can distribute it to other, the ebook, right, to other global resellers. But yeah, I think Bookmobile is another one to keep in mind out there if you're looking for help with, distribution, or interested in drop shipping. It's a one to check out too. I'm not too familiar with, either Asters and Books or Bookmobile. I haven't, worked with them a ton. I did get a quote from Bookmobile in the past, and I have to circle back to them about, that. But I don't think at this time we may do it, because simply because of budget. With some places, right, you have to write, right, it's different, right? You can see here there's a quantity, right? So um quite a lot of lit magazine journals, they use print on demand options too. So this is different from that, right? This is like ordering up front, right? A large quantity, right? And then having it, in a warehouse, and then they help with distribution of that, fulfilling orders, right? So they do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So that's really nice. Yeah, and then you can get, printed proofs, e-proofs, right? And yeah, I've heard great things about Bookmobile, so def check it out too. But predominantly in this episode, again, I wanted to focus on Asterism Books, and yeah, because they have, again, grown quite a bit, since they've started, the past couple of years. And yeah, so I, have come across, I think in the past, I was checking out their site and I came across some really, again, cool presses, right? You can dig into their online bookstore, read more about them, and yeah, so it's cool. If you're someone who loves reading, this is a good place to just check out too. And yeah, I hope this helped. This episode, I think, is was more so trying to share it with anyone who's looking to start a lit mag or journal, or looking for a distribution option. Again, just keep in mind, Asterism doesn't accept everyone into, their online bookstore, their distribution services. So you have to, again, read the criteria of what they're looking for from publishers, and, you can totally try again, right? They had sent a letter saying I could try again in the future. So it wasn't like, after decision, you can never try again, right? So you have to just keep that in mind. Yeah, so I just wanted to share Asterism. That's pretty much it for today's episode. I promise we will get into more lit mags and presses, like before too, going forwards. So again, This podcast has, a mix, of episodes for publishers, founding editors, and also submitters, writers. So they're not back to back to back tips and stuff like that, or platforms and services. So have to dig through the episodes a little bit. I do have, section playlist on some platforms where you can, go through them for sure, in a bit more organized way. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. Sorry, I was browsing around a little bit more and I forgot to turn off the recording there. But you can see I was just looking at, magazines and journals and some of the other categories there. So, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? So, yeah, I like the categories they have. They have, 2025 Woman in Translation picks, and then, you can, again, check out queer stories, art and visual, essays and criticism, short stories, horror, memoirs, fiction, poetry, right? Everything is very organized. I must say, just again, I really like the site design, or the online bookstore design, I should say, that Asterism has here. So yeah, you can totally check it out further. I'm not signed into an account or anything. This is all public, to browse around in here. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna check out more of Asterism Books here today too. I encourage you to check it out as well. I will drop a link to what I discussed in today's podcast episode as usual. So now, guys, bye. Now, bye, guys. I'm going to sign off here. So, yeah.